Hey there everybody. I'm glad you're taking a look at my video that I'm sharing with you today. Hopefully it'll be something that'll be a little bit inspiring to some of you. I've got my neighbors mowing the grass and a train coming through nearby, so I apologize for the background noise, but hopefully you'll be able to hear everything I have to say. Yes, it's the end of August, and I'm just now sharing my June Traveler's Notebook with you. But in my defense, I've been out of the country for 6 weeks, and I just couldn't get it done until, I got back home and things calmed down a little bit. So I'm glad you're taking a look now. This notebook seemed a little bit, it seemed fat, like there was too much going on, so I had clipped it to sort of keep it wrangled. I'm not going to keep it clipped the whole time, like when I store it and stuff, but I thought between the time that I finished it last week and got the video up this week, I thought maybe this would kind of wrangle it into submission. As usual, on the front, I started with my Cocoa Daisy strip that had the month. And then I've included several different layers of washi tape. I had a hard time getting the washi tape to stay totally adhered. So I actually continued it this time onto the back of the notebook, thinking that that might make those edges stay down a little bit nicer. And I think that that's going to work. I did a couple of things on the title page for the month. I very rarely decorate this at all, but since this was when I left for Europe, I thought that that might be sort of a fun thing. So I did put a little marker on the day that I left for Europe. And then I included some washi tape and a wood veneer camera there. So not much, just a little bit. This month has a lot of journaling in it, partly because I was also making Traveler's Notebook entries for the trip itself. So I didn't want to have a lot of crossover between the stories that I was telling. So I included a picture of myself here on a boat ride outside of the island of Capri in Italy. And then I talked a little bit about why I like this selfie, what I like about traveling, what I like about traveling alone. And then I just topped it off with some washi tape and also with a puffy sticker. So, okay, here's real life. My P got a little off track there. Let me fix it. This is not a good sign. I'm using some old stickers that I have here for the title. It's supposed to say tips for airplane survival, but as you can see, they're not adhering as well as they should, even though I've had it clipped shut. So what I'm thinking is I may have to go back with glue dots or something like that in order to make sure that those stay stuck. That's such a bummer for me, and I don't know if any of you all run into this or not, but with older supplies, sometimes they lose their stickiness. Anywho, I started with an airplane sticker, which I thought was apropos. And then I combined both washi tape and labels and then just regular journaling because I thought that that made this a little bit more interesting visually than just a list. And this is very reminiscent of a blog post that I did in prepping for my trip. So you might have seen some of these before. This is a good example of how something that I put on my blog actually made its way into a scrapbook layout. So there you go. Here is our itinerary. I included a chipboard sticker. We're on an adventure. I'm reluctant sometimes to buy travel themed embellishments that say we or us or combinations thereof, because a lot of times I travel by myself. So anytime I am traveling with a group, I try to use these embellishments that I might not have an opportunity to otherwise. And this is just the list of our itinerary, where we're going. And here you can see a picture of us at the airport. Well, not of us, but of our stuff. This layout is super simple. I made a list of the things that I missed most from the USA while I was on my student trip. And this is something that I had jotted down in my phone in the notes section, and then I just transferred it onto this page. So there's a list. I've got a few little puffy stickers, and I drew a sad face, and you know, a flat sticker. And then on this facing page, there really wasn't anything that I wanted to say. And so I thought it might be fun to just sort of decorate with some of the washi tape that I'm using throughout this particular month's album and give it some visual interest. Here, I talk about our arrival as a group in Madrid. We actually started in Madrid, and of course that's where I spent my time alone. But I tell the story of how we arrived and ended up sleeping in the courtyard of the Prado Museum because we were too exhausted to even begin looking at any art. And then I tell the story of going to the flamenco performance the next evening. I thought it might be a good idea to make a list of the things that I love about student travel. You know, some of my colleagues think I'm crazy for taking groups of teenagers abroad, but there are lots of things about it that I really do love. And so I made a list of 10 items that make me happy or things that I enjoy about student travel. And I interspersed those with some puffy stickers, with some wood veneer hearts, and a couple of other embellishments. A little bit of washi tape down here. And I think that that's fun. I don't think that I've done a blog post about this, so this would be an example of a page spread that would be a great transition. You know, it started here, but I could turn it into a blog post if I wanted to. Here I am trying to get a little artsy. On the left, you can see I took a picture of some graffiti that I encountered while I was abroad, and then on the right is my version of that. Not too shabby, if I say so myself. It's not going to win any prizes or anything, but I feel pretty good about that. That makes me kind of happy to look at it. You can also see that I have a little embellished paper clip up here, which is sort of fun. Oh no, my book is falling apart. See, this is like real life. And I don't know how I'll fix that exactly. I'll have to figure that out. Okay, anyway, back to the story. Here's a picture of some of the kids that went on the trip with us, and I talk a little bit about how impressed I was at their kindness to each other and to me, and how positive they were the whole trip, which always makes for a better experience. Here's another page where I'm using some of those old stickers. I think these are maybe sticking a little bit better. But this is the story of the shoe Nazi. If you guys are Seinfeld fans, then you probably remember the episode about the soup Nazi. Well, I encountered the shoe equivalent when I went to one of the famous stores that sells espadrilles in Madrid, Casa Hernan's. It was totally worth it, and I'm glad I didn't get kicked out. Wasn't banned, because I actually would go again later with my friend Tonya when she visited me, and we would buy some more shoes. Hence my luggage overage, but that's another story. Okay, here I thought it would be fun to do a quoted page, but this time I chose quotes from Kelsey, things that she says to me all the time, or things that she said to me recently. One of my favorites, she says, "I know this is your fave, but what should I wear?" Because that is like my least favorite game that we play. She also likes to call or text me and say, "I'm having a rough day and need to vent," which means that I'm not supposed to really respond or have an opinion. I'm just supposed to be sympathetic and listen. And so I'm getting better at listening to those cues that she gives me, and that's been good for our relationship. Those of you all who have teenage or grown daughters probably understand me very well there. This is a page that really just focuses on a picture. The island of Capri off the southern coast of Italy near Sorrento is one of my very favorite places in the world. I think it's absolutely beautiful, and I wanted to showcase a photo that I had taken of the island. This is from the top of the island that you access via a funiculare, and I think it's just gorgeous, Look at that sea out there, and then the cliffs in the distance. Beautiful. I have clipped together, you can see right here, I have clipped together my calendar pages. There weren't a whole lot of things that I included on my calendar pages. Like there's some attempt at lettering that went horribly wrong, so I wasn't going to show it. Oops. And then I have just, you know, notes about where we went and things that we did, that sort of thing, so that I'd be able to go back and reference dates if I needed to. But I think that clip is awesome. And then my last spread in the album is also a selfie, because that's usually how I end my monthly traveler's notebooks. And there's also a photo of my airplane that I took from Rome to Madrid. This was when my part of the vacation began, when I started traveling by myself. And it was a little nerve-wracking to take a little plane on an airline I'd never even heard of before, I have to admit. But I was glad that I said yes to that new adventure, and the next month that I would spend in Spain would be pretty amazing in a lot of ways. I didn't put a single thing on the closing page just because I love the quote that's there, and I didn't see any reason to interfere with it. Then you can see my washi tape on the back. Well, there you have it. My June Traveler's Notebook featuring my Cocoa Daisy subscription. I will have to go back in and work a little bit on making sure that those stickers stay stuck. And I'll also have to see about, I don't know, maybe stapling in that page that has worked itself loose. I think that this is a good, reminder that sometimes, you're working in a project. See, it comes all the way out. You're working in a project, and for whatever reason, your materials don't always do exactly what you want them to do. So I don't know if I'll go in and I'll stitch that, or if I'll just try to glue it, or maybe even staple it. I'm willing to consider all three of those options, but I certainly want to do something to adhere that page so that it doesn't come out and I lose it forever by accident. You can tell that I've loved on this one quite a bit. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will catch you next time. In the meantime, go and be crafty.